Hey guys, so we're going to continue the lesson of reaching for your potential. And, the segment of this series is your potential is laying in front of you. Your potential is laying in front of you. You might not see it, you might not want to believe it's there, and it maybe hasn't even really sprouted yet, but your potential is laying in front of you. And when I say reaching your potential, when I say maximizing yourself, when I say, being all you can be, and when I say it's laying in front of you, like ultimately what I'm saying is that you don't have to wait for things to start coalescing before you get started. I think sometimes we get locked in the framework of, well, when the time is right. I agree. There is a good time and a bad time to do things. But it's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be the perfect moment. Things may come into alignment, which will make it easier when the time comes. But you also need to be ready when things come into alignment. Because if you're trying to, say, complete a project, okay, and you get assigned a resource, but you're nowhere near getting the project off the ground, are you really going to be able to harness that resource? So, what I'm getting at is if it's already in front of you, you just need to get started. It's just in front of you. You just need to start picking it up, start using it, start harnessing it, whatever that looks like. You're not going to be able to pick up a bachelor's degree off the ground. It takes about 4 years, but you're still picking up one piece at a time, right? And you can't wait until it's graduation time for you to start picking up those pieces. You're not going to be participating in graduation time if you never picked it up. You got to pick it up one piece at a time, one brick at a time, one piece of wood at a time, one cup of rice at a time. Okay? So it's laying in front of you already. Like, and it might not be what you. I agree that it's probably not already in its final form. It's probably not built exactly the way you want it to be, but it is still in front of you. So you need to start picking it up. You need to start picking it up. Then you can start forming it the way you want it to be. Or you can pick up different pieces and put them together in different ways. But it's already in front of you. You cannot wait for it to fall out of the sky. And God forbid it does fall out of the sky. Are you going to be able to catch it? Probably if you haven't gotten started. So, what we're getting at is that it is in front of you already, and you just need to get started with what's in front of you. It's not going to be the final product. It's not going to be the polished product. It's not going to be the refined product. You got to do that after the fact. You don't get to build the house at one step. You gotta dig up the dirt and put down the cement for the foundation. Okay, you got to start there. Same idea with anything else. You got to start with step one, not step 12 or step 50 or whatever the case may be. You got to get started with step one, and then you can move on to step two, maybe. You might screw up step 1, maybe you have to go back and readjust, or maybe you get to step 12 and you realize you screwed up step 1. Well, okay, we got to maybe readjust then, right? It's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Don't assume that, when I was engaged in academic endeavors, I just assumed that like I only had so much time and I only had like one crack at bat to get something done. Like I had like one chance to read that page. I had like one chance to write that paper. That's not giving yourself a lot of room. So, I mean, if you say you truly only have one shot at this, is there any way you can give yourself some more time? Is there any way you can give yourself a second chance? Is there any way you can practice a couple of times? Because I agree there's only one Super Bowl, right? I agree. But you could still practice before then. At least I assume you could. But you still got to start picking it up. It is just laying in front of you. You just got to start picking it up. And why does that matter? Because if you don't believe it's in front of you, then what are you picking up? If you don't believe that the resources are at your disposal, what are you going to use? If you don't believe that you have the ability to pick it up, how are you going to pick it up? So I would just say that start by looking and seeing what's in front of you. It is there. It's probably not in its final form. It might not be the final answer that you're looking for, but there is something in front of you, and you just need to get started with that. I think this will go to the realm of, if anyone has any sort of like hoarding situations, to say, well, this house is stuffed full of nonsense. Yeah, I agree. And you say, well, how are we going to get this clean? One item at a time. Pick a corner and just start putting the stuff in bags and carrying those bags to the curb. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. So, in that scenario, the goal is we want the house empty. We want the house having a lot less nonsense. And you say, okay, well, where is the house that is not full of nonsense? It is in front of you. You just need to pull it out. You just need to bring it about. I think the ancient Greeks used to basically believe that they used to believe that if you were gonna like build a statue, they basically believed that the statue was already in the marble. You just need to pull it out. And if you say, well, where is the clean house? It is in front of you. You just need to pull it out. You need to bring it about. You need to pull it up to the surface. Well, how do you do that? Well, you pick up a item, put it in a bag. Once the bag's full, you take the bag to the curb. And you repeat that process until the house is clean. Then the house is clean. It's just a item, put it in the bag. Once the bag's full, you take it to the curb, then you repeat the process until there's no items left that need to be in bags. You're going to say that's going to take a hell of a long time. Yeah, probably. The house didn't get dirty in one day. It ain't going to get cleaned in one day. Sorry. But just follow that process. Get started. And before you know it, you will be getting very far. Now, how you maintain that is an entirely different conversation, okay? And this is not the purpose of today's lesson, is dealing with a hoarding family of origin, which I do have experience with, but that's not today's lesson. It is in front of you. You just got to believe it and get started. All right, guys, take care.